My name is Jerry Gill. Today is August 24th, 2010. I'm visiting with Ty Cunningham and his ranch here southwest of Tulsa. This interview is for the State Storage Project and the Oklahoma World History Research Program. Ty, you and your wife Jennifer have a special relationship with Oklahoma State University. You're currently trainers of bullet, horse ridden by OSU Spirit Rider, and are both former Spirit Riders yourself.
Correct.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I want to visit with you about your experiences, but I'd like to maybe back up. First of all, ask you, Ty, about where you grew up, a little bit about your parents, your family.
Okay. I grew up in Jay, Oklahoma, is where I grew up at. My father is an ag teacher there and has been teaching ag for over 30 years. And my mother is a teacher in the grade school. And we grew up on right around 1,500 acres and raised commercial cows. And I showed livestock all through 4-H and all through high school and was on horse judging team. And got to participate in a lot of events as I was growing up. High school rodeoed a little as well.
You talking about brothers and sisters you had?
I do. Have two, actually I have 3 brothers. I have 2 brothers or 3 that are younger. One's 2 years younger than me that still lives there in Jay and did the same. I've got another one that sells real estate on Grand Lake in Grove. And then I've got a little brother, I guess, that just graduated high school.
Is he going to OSU?
He's going to go to NEO.
Oh my
He's going to go to NEO and then he'll probably transfer to OSU, but he's going to junior college up there on scholarships first. And then he'll
there's a family tradition. Your brothers went to Oklahoma State as well?
Yeah, one of them did. The family tradition, I guess, is to go, everybody goes to NEO first up there because we go, we were fortunate enough to be able to go up there on scholarship and full ride scholarships up there judging livestock and judging horses. So I guess the family tradition, and through all the Cunninghams, we've all went to NEO first and then transferred and went to Stillwater to finish our degree.
So you've been associated with horses all your life, cattle and growing up on the ranch. Was there any, did your parents work outside the ranching operation, or was that, of course that's a full-time job in itself? But
yep, just that and school, and teaching school.
So they both teach?
Yep, they both teach. Yep. Dad's a vocational agriculture education instructor there at Jay, and then my mom's been teaching for 30 plus years. She's actually the reading specialist now. She taught 5th grade for quite a while, and then she taught 2nd grade for a while, and then she taught kindergarten for probably 15 years, and now she's the reading specialist since they had to have that.
That's good. How many years was your dad go ag instructor there?
He's still teaching, and I don't know exactly, but it's probably somewhere around 32 years, right around there is how long he's been teaching.
Well, did the family always, was that the family ranch there? Did your grandparents live there as well? Or?
My mom's mom and dad, they lived there and they moved there. My mom's mom moved there, and when she married him, and she was in high school then. So it was actually her stepfather that had kind of lived there, and then they just bought land around there and added on to it.
Gosh, thanks. Any values, principles you learned as a kid growing up, being around your family, that helped you be successful later in life?
Just honesty and integrity. Keep your word. Whatever you say you're going to do, you better mean it when you say it, so that you can keep your word and hold up to your end of the bargain.
I guess hard work probably is part of that too.
Yep, lots of hard work and be dedicated to whatever you're going to do and do it 100%.
Great, thank you. What was there influence that you had? You're the oldest in the family, so was there an OSU tie in your family, or what influenced you to come to Oklahoma State?
The horse judging program.
So you were at NEO for a couple years.
Yep.
Right?
I went to NEO for 2 years and then went to Oklahoma State. Colorado State recruited me pretty hard and actually had me enrolled to come up there, as a matter of fact. And so that was part of the deal maybe. But out-of-state tuition was going to cost so much. And so I ended up with a little bit of a scholarship to go on to Oklahoma State. And so that's how I ended up there. But we're tied through, I guess, just because of agriculture to Oklahoma State as well.
Of course, we're talking about NEO, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College, or university now. Thank you. What was your major time when you come to Oklahoma State?
Animal science,
Animal science.
with a business option.
So you stayed with that and you got your degree in that
Yep.
field?
I stayed with that and got my degree in the field, and then I've just trained and our own horses and showed our own horses for about 7 years, and worked for Jennifer, my wife's mother and father-in-law, with the fire protection a little bit, helping haul pipe and do some stuff there when needed, but most of that is here at the ranch. And then a job opportunity came up, and they called me and asked me if I'd be interested in teaching ag at Kellyville. About 3 years ago, I guess, and I said, yeah, I'm ready to do something different. So I ended up alternative certifying in ag ed, so I had to go back to school and just recently finished completing that degree too. So I guess I also have an agriculture education degree now.
Didn't understand you've changed.
And now I've changed just recently, and now I work for Purina or Land O'Lakes, the equine specialist for Central Oklahoma.
Okay. Let me back up a little time and ask you a couple of questions. First of all, when you went to J High School, I guess, obviously, were there other community activities other than showing livestock, and any other in sports or other community or school activities?
No. I tried the sports thing, but when I graduated high school, I weighed 115 pounds. So football was definitely not in my future. And I wasn't very tall, so basketball wasn't going to work either. And since I was gone judging or showing animals quite often, then when I got back, it seemed like I did a lot of running to make up for things, and I decided that I wasn't near big enough to be able to play football and go there on a scholarship. I knew what my avenues were going to be, and that I was going to get more scholarships in the ag side of it. So I quit that when I was a freshman in high school and just focused on agriculture endeavors and showing and speech contests and judging.
And that's full time. That's a lot of stuff. Right?
That's full time. That's 12 months out of the year.
That's great. What time when you're up on the state? And we're going to talk about your spirit rider experiences a little bit later. But as some of your student activities, organizations, and can you talk about your student experience at Oklahoma State?
Yes. I was in the Horsemen's Association too while I was at Oklahoma State, and worked with the Animal Science Department quite a bit. I was the president of the Horsemen's Association there, and then also worked at the horse barn for Oklahoma State out there, breaking colts and feeding and cleaning stalls and doing whatever they needed out there. And so I did that the whole time I was there as well. And other than that, that was kind of a full-time job there too, because when I wasn't in class, I was working at the horse barn, and then feeding on weekends as well too.
You were in the Horsemen's Club. Were you also in the rodeo club?
Nope, I wasn't in the rodeo club. Jennifer was. My wife, she rodeoed for him and was the president of that, but I was in the Horsemen's Association, and I was on that side of it.
She's the cowgirl in the family.
Yeah, she's the cowgirl, yeah.
Okay. Well, can you share some highlights of your undergraduate experience at Oklahoma State, some things that you really look back and remember about your time at OSU?
Yep. Lots of friends and lots of fellowship, and meeting a lot of people that still, I guess, that have connections with today in the industry that I'm in. But some of the great things is was fortunate enough to be on the world champion horse judging team. Wow. And so we won the, we also won the National Reining Futurity. We were the high team there, and I was high individual at that. And so that was great. And then we got to go to Columbus, Ohio. And so there was several different highlights in the horse judging, I guess, field that I really liked and thought that that was great. It helped for later on in life, and because I've been coaching a Tulsa County 4-H horse judging team as well since I quit that, or since I graduated from school and been here. And that's been great because they've been the state champions 3 or 4 times, and they've won the paint world about 3 times now, and just everywhere they've been successful and done really well, and that was thanks to Oklahoma State and NEO and being able to judge up there and then pass that on to younger kids in the 4-H.
Who was the head of your sponsor, your coach for your judging team at Oklahoma State?
When I was there, it was Don Topliff, and that was his last year there before he left to go to Texas. And then Stephen Cooper, he was the assistant and helped, and I guess that was coming in that has the job now.
Kind of follow up on that question, were there some professors there that you especially remember that were important and influential in your development?
Yeah, there was there was probably quite a few of them, but the one that stood out the most was Dr. Bob Kropp, and helping in livestock marketing and merchandising and nutrition, I guess. That was one of the main ones, I guess, and influences that helped a lot, especially in the field that we're in, with buying and selling horses and having a ranch and being able to, and now in feed sales, I guess, and being able to look back at that, that's probably one of the best classes, and then the professors that I did have there. And then Stephen Cooper, he taught the equine management class that I had, and to teach you different things to know on the farm and with the horses. So those were probably the main two.
We talked about some of your favorite memories, but got to ask you at this point, at some point in your career that you met Jennifer, would that be one of your favorite memories? Is there a story there about how you met Jennifer? There
is a story there. She's actually a little bit younger than I am, and she high school rodeoed with my brother. So they high school rodeoed and knew each other really well, so she knew my side of the family, I guess. My mom and dad, they went to the National High School Finals rodeo, and so she had been whitewater rafting and spent 11 days with them up there. And so our parents knew each other really well, and they tried to get me, because I was already in college at the time, and so they tried to get me to come to the high school finals up there and stay with them and just go up there, because we had been up there when I was high school rodeoing, but I was at home taking care of everything and feeding the cows and horses, but they tried to get us to come up there. So when they get home, my little brother that high school rodeoed with her said, "I've met the girl that you're going to marry." And I said, "Oh, really?" And he said, "Yeah, she'll be at Oklahoma State this fall. She's coming to school there." And I said, "Okay, whatever." Just kind of blew it off at that. So school started back up, and she actually met and knew one of my good friends, Lydia Lasky, I guess, and was in a sorority house and knew her. And so we, I guess, just kind of met at the Tulsa State Fair. Was the first time we had seen each other, and I knew her. I just happened to walk up to the Ketten there at the Tulsa State Fair and sat down in the bleachers and was talking to her mom and dad. Met them when I sat down, and she was outside loping horses, and then she came in and I met her, and then things just went from there. We started dating and dated for, I guess, a little over 2 years, and then now we've been married for over 10 years now.
So now, what year did you enroll in Oklahoma State? In the fall of
96, I guess is when it would have been. Yep.
And so you would have met Jennifer then that next.
Yeah, probably been about the spring, well, fall of 97, I guess, something like that. Yep.
So you went to Oklahoma State in 96 and graduated in
99.
99.
Yep. Okay. I was there 3 years with all the judging and the spirit rider, and it took me 5 years to graduate.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
You had a lot going on.
Yeah.
When did you first think about trying out for spirit rider? I mean, what appealed to you about being a spirit rider?
Well, I actually didn't know a whole lot about it when I got to Oklahoma State, but I was judging horses and being out at the horse barn where Bullet used to be housed and kept through the animal science department, and working for the professors that was in charge of the program. And they asked me if I would be interested in it. And so I was like, sure, because I was having to kind of take care of him and ride him a little bit to keep him in shape in off season anyway. And so I said, yeah, I think that'd be really interesting and probably really fun. But I was judging horses the first year I was there, and they said, well, you can't do it right now because you're judging, but maybe next year will work out. And so I tried out the following year and was lucky enough to become the spirit rider, and that was probably the best experience that I had at Oklahoma State.
Can you talk a little bit about the process? I mean, you know, your application and the process and what you had to do to become a spirit rider?
Yes. They had the sign-ups, I guess, to be involved and for you to sign up to interview, and then we had to go through an interview process in front of about 4 different professors, and they asked us all the what-if questions, and what would you do if this happened, what would you do if that happened type thing. And then we all had to ride the horse and go through a process in riding the horse, and then they determined who interviewed and rode the best.
So you all used the same horse, actually used
Yeah, there was.
Did you bring your own horse or what?
No, we used Bullet, and then there was another horse that they had there that was a black horse that was kind of supposed to be a backup horse in case something happened to Bullet, and so they called Cactus. And so we used those two horses to ride and to perform little maneuvers and go around some cones and what-if situations.
Did you? What did you do to prepare yourself, Ty? Did you do some riding or kind of work on a routine before? Or
No, I did nothing to prepare myself because I was riding every day at the time anyway, riding colts, and I guess growing up on horses and breaking horses my whole life, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I just went and tried out and went through the interview process.
Do you remember how many tried out that year?
No, I have no idea. I can't remember.
12, 15, or?
Yeah, I'm guessing there was probably 10 or 12 that tried out that year.
So that was in 90?
That'd have been 97 probably.
97, so
yeah.
spring of 97 was tried, and then you were...
For the fall, yeah, for the following fall and spring. Yeah, for the fall of 97 and the spring of 98. Yeah.
Okay, great. Was, at that time, was there an alternate spare rider, or did you select it? Like Pistol Pete, there's two Pistol Petes. Did they have an alternate spare rider?
Yes, they had an alternate spare rider in case something unfortunate ever happened, that had a broken arm or a broken leg or something happened, that there would be a backup plan for them that could get on the horse and ride.
Was it pretty cool to be a spare rider? Was that pretty exciting for you? I mean, how did other students react to you when they found out you were a spare rider?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, you got to, I guess, they gave you the jacket to wear, and so you'd go to class and be able to parade around in the jacket that said Spirit Rider on it and had your name. But it was interesting, and it was a cool experience, and all the other kids were excited for you, and everybody was, oh, you know Bullet, and you get to ride Bullet. You're the greatest ever. And so it was very interesting, and it was fun. It was quite a rush come football season and the games, with all the people screaming and hollering, and you're flying out on the field on a horse.
What were some of the most frequently asked questions you'd get from fans, from kids? I mean, what would they ask you?
What does Bullet like to eat? Is what they would ask a lot. Is what does he like to eat, and what does he think about the noise in the cannon? It seems like the cannon is asked about all the time, and the cannon has never been an issue with Bullet. It's never bothered him at all. He's been fine with that. There's been a few other noises and things that's maybe spooked him a little bit, but the funny thing is out of all the things that go on, the cannon's the least of our worries probably. But a lot of people ask about that.
What do kids ask about? What he eats, anything else?
Yep. No, a lot of times it's just what he eats, and if he's soft. They all want to come up and pet him and touch him all the time, want to know if he's soft, and to pet him and pull on his hair a little bit.
Anything, after you were selected that spring of 97, we said, I give me yours right here, but what did you need to do anything to prepare yourself? You'd been in horse shows, been a horseman broken, but did you do anything that summer to prepare for being a spare rider?
No, I was there, and I worked just a little bit, and just rode horses all summer long and breaking colts. Kind of the same thing that I had done my whole life, and just kept doing it.
So Bullet was there at the arena where you were now, so you got a chance to ride and get comfortable with him, kind of bond with him that summer.
A little bit. I think that summer, it's been so long ago now, but I think that summer I actually went home. So I don't know that, I can't remember if I was even there through the summertime, or if I worked, or if I went home and then came back in the fall even. So, because most of the time I always went home during the summertime and worked a job there, so that I didn't have to pay rent as well in Stillwater.
That's good. Well, Ty, as OSU Spirit Rider, there's sort of an added responsibility and expectation of how you conduct yourself in public, and was that important to you? I mean, did they talk to you about that as part of the selection process?
Yes, they did. They said to remember that you're representing Oklahoma State at all times, and to keep that in the back of your mind whenever you decide to do something that wasn't very intelligent or smart, that there's lots of people that's going to be watching you. And so that was part of the question, is not to be belligerent and acting inappropriately.
Did you feel a special sense of, as representing Oklahoma State University, was that important to you to uphold that tradition.
Yes, it was. Yep, it was important to uphold the tradition and keep the integrity of the program, because it meant a lot to Oklahoma State, and it means a whole lot to the kids and the fans. You'd be surprised, I guess, how many of the fans and the kids want to take up for Bullitt, and when something happens or if there's a problem, he's a big part of Oklahoma State, and especially in the kids' eyes as well. Everybody wants to grow up. It seems like all the kids want to grow up and be able to ride Bullitt at football games.
I got to ask you this question. You're a spirit rider and there's Bullitt. How does it feel to play second fiddle to a horse?
You learn that that's going to happen, and that's going to be the main focus is the horse. They can care less about you. Most of the time, they just want to be able to see Bullitt and take a picture with him. But that's fine. That's great. We love Bullitt. He's part of the family now.
Was it special for you? And I guess 2 years later, then Jennifer, your wife, was selected as spirit rider. Was that special for you, for Jennifer, then to follow you a couple years later?
Yep, I was proud, and I was glad that she was able to go through and have the exact same experience that I did, because it is a great thrill, and it's a big part of our lives when you go through Oklahoma State and you go through a whole year of dedicating yourself to a program and going through something like that. And so I was glad that she was able to get to experience that as well.
That's pretty special. You know, there's not very many people get the opportunity to be a spirit rider, much less to try to explain that to others. But the two of you both experienced that, and it must be a special bond that you have.
Yep. Yeah, you know, it's a great program that we believe in, and we really enjoy getting to see the other kids get to do that now, I guess, as well. It's great for them, and they get to have their glory and their time of fame with Bullitt, and so, but we really enjoy it a lot. Yeah.
Ty, can you talk a little bit about game day preparations, responsibilities? You know, there's more than a lot has to be done before they say, "Here comes Bullitt." There's a lot of responsibility. Can you kind of describe what you have to do? You know, prepare for game day, pre-game day. What's the start? You meet on Wednesday with first of all for game staging, but could you just take us through a typical week of football game?
Yep, Jennifer usually goes to the meetings at Oklahoma State to find out what's going to happen during that game that they have I think it's Monday is what they have it on Monday morning or something. They talk about everything that went wrong on the previous game, and then everything that's going to happen during that football game. But we just ride him through the week like normal and take care of him on a daily basis, but usually on game day, if it's a 6 o'clock kickoff in the afternoon, then I'll usually ride him here in the morning time, and just to burn off some excess energy that he might have, and to just kind of get him ready and then keep him in shape. And then we give him a bath, and we have to wash the truck and trailer because it has to be spotless and in good shape too. And then from there we meet all the rest of the kids and pick them up at the horse barn at Oklahoma State there. And they hop in, and we go to the alumni, center. We usually meet there about 2.5 hours before game time. And so that way, since there's no way for us at halftime and for the kids to be able to meet or take pictures with Bullitt anymore, so we go to the alumni center before game time, and we're up there and we take pictures, and the kids get to see him for about an hour. And then the spirit rider will warm him up and ride him there just a little bit. Then we load him in the trailer and head for the tunnel and get ready for the band run in the game.
Do you, Bullitt and Spirit Rider, are they part of the walk that the football team takes now? They used to be. Are they still? No,
they're not part of the walk anymore. Everything is, since the times have changed so much as to when everybody does everything, it's just too probably hard for us to have him there, and it's so hot at the first few games to walk him down all the way to the football field, and then to go back again, and then stand around for quite a bit longer to take pictures, and then come back again. So we're not part of the walk anymore. I wish we could, because that was great, and that was a big part of Oklahoma State to be able to lead the football team and the band down, and then. So now we just go to the Alumni Center, and then we come in and then follow the band onto the field.
Can you talk a little bit about rehearsal, what you do to prepare, Bullet for what's going to go on game day? I mean, is there a routine you do to prepare him for the crowd noises? You were talking about the cannon earlier, the crowd, all the activities that's going on.
Yep. I guess with the situation that he's in, you can rehearse and rehearse and rehearse as much as you want to, but you can never prepare yourself nor him for exactly what's going to happen. I mean, we do the rehearsals, and usually we get to get on the field 3 or 4 times and practice with the band to do the band run, and for him to be able, for the Spirit Rider to be able to do some touchdown runs, just to kind of get the feel of the field and how he's going to react a little bit with the band. Because every year you've got all the freshmen playing in the band that's never experienced a 1,200-pound horse run right through the middle of them when they part, and so it's just good for, and as far as that goes, even the Spirit Rider, whoever's riding that year, has probably never ran through a group of people like that holding a flag and riding a horse on a football field. So we get to practice that probably, I think we meet with the band 3 or 4 times, it depends on when we're allowed to be able to practice and get on the field. We come after the football team. So the football team gets first priority, and then we get to practice if we can. There's been one year that we only got to practice once. So.
Well, is part of that practice, I mean, do you do it on like every game day? I mean, there's just a couple times early in the year and then Bullet's used to routine, or do you need to repeat that every week?
Nope, the only time that we practice is we will practice about starting a week or 2 before the first football game. And we'll go down there whenever we can and whenever they'll give us a time slot on the field. And then we practice with the band just that 3 or 4 times before the first football game. And then other than that, it's just game days only. He's good at usually after that. So, but it's still hard to replicate when you don't have the 30,000 people in the stands and slapping the wall and screaming and hollering and ringing the cowbells. It's hard to replicate that, but we do as much as we can with what we're able to.
Can you describe a little about the role and duties of the Spirit Rider crew? I mean, we think about Spirit Rider and Bullet, but there's a crew assist. And how many are in that crew? Can you explain a little bit about what they do?
Yeah, it varies. We're set with, there's the Spirit Rider and then there's 4 ground crew people, but we have some other people, since there's so many people on the field anymore, that come and help us. That's a little bit older, that's been around it. Year after year after year that we use to help, and then we also keep a vet with us at all times on the football field just in case there was some unfortunate thing that might happen. But the Spirit Rider crew, their main job is to keep the Spirit Rider and Bullet safe, to keep everybody out away from him, and to kind of keep him in the direction that he's heading, to make sure that it's clear and that everybody is aware that Bullet and the Spirit Rider is fixing to be running out across the football field. So safety is the #1 concern in our eyes, and that we look at for everything that we do, and safety and to take care of Bullet. We're on Bullet's side no matter what happens. If we don't think it's safe or we don't think that he should be doing it, then we just don't do it.
And I guess there's, as you said earlier, there's safety issues for the people on the field as well.
Yes, there is. It's funny, we meet with the refs and we tell them every football game, there's going to be a horse come out on the football field when there's a touchdown scored. But every time, as soon as the first touchdown is scored and the horse comes running out across there, their eyes get big and they take off running, because they don't remember. But the first time you blow past a ref on the horse, they remember after that and they get off the field.
You always notice in time, you're looking at, after they've been there a time, they start looking over their shoulder.
Yep, they start looking over their shoulder, and another one starts signaling for them just to hold still, and we'll go around them.
That's great. Well, now, what typically, how many hours would you spend on a home football game as a Spirit Rider? How many hours did it tie you up during the week? And of course, game day is probably about all day long, but how many hours during the week would you tie up being a Spirit Rider?
Oh, there was different appearances, and it varied all the time. It was something different, I guess, every week. Sometimes you might have one function to attend, and sometimes there might not be anything for a couple of weeks, or you might do 3 things in 1 week. So it all varied. We make appearances often, like at the Special Olympics, and we go there and lead some trail rides. They've asked us to do that a time or two, and we went to different rodeos to do the grand entry and carry the flag. So I guess it's hard to pinpoint or to nail down an exact time that you spend with it, because it's all different. I mean, just last week, for instance, Jennifer had to take and go and do a grand entry with them and didn't get home till midnight, and left at 4:30 in the afternoon. So you just never know, I guess, what's going to happen or where you're going to be going with him till somebody calls you. And if it fits in the schedule, then we're happy to go and do that. We've had some kids that come out, you know, some cancer patients and some kids who just are dying to see Bullet. And so we're more than happy to accommodate them and to help with the kids, because that's what horses healing to them. And they like to, all little kids want to see or pet a horse. And so it's a great that's just a great program that allows you to touch a lot of people and lots of young children too.
Do you do some special events like maybe the 89er celebration, or do you go to any parades, or, you know, other than football game activities, some of the things that you do typically during the year?
You know, we do the homecoming parades and the Christmas parades there, and then they asked us to be part of the Centennial Parade in Oklahoma City a few years back, and so that was fun, and we got to experience that. But it's just different, I guess, just different types of things, and you never know what's going to happen. It's all different from week to week. And so there's been a few other, you know, like rodeos and grand entries, and we go to the Oklahoma Youth Expo on OSU Day there, so people can come take pictures of him and get their picture taken with Bullet there as well.
You're talking about kids. I mean, kids love Bullet, don't they? Do you have any favorite kid stories that you remember about kids' reactions to Bullet? Or?
I don't guess that there's any that stands out. You know, Jennifer's probably the one that's standing there with him all the time. While I'm out passing cards or talking to other people that's got questions and asking things. So I'm usually talking to the grown-ups that's always asking questions and keeping an eye on the Spirit Rider crew to make sure that they're doing what they need to be to keep everybody safe. So I try to keep my eyes on that most of the time, and Jennifer's the one that's talking to everybody and talking with the kids most of the time. But yeah, they love to come and talk to him and come to pet him and take pictures, and they like to bring him treats every once in a while too. Some of them do.
We were talking about, Ty, kind of expand on, you said you made some appearances with some kids that were cancer patients. Can you talk? That must have been a pretty special experience for you. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yep. Yeah. You know, they called and asked if they could come out because that was their daughter's wish. It was to get to see Bullet, and she was going through some chemo and some treatments and all that. So they brought her out
here to the ranch.
Out here to the ranch, yep. And we let them come out here so that they could see him where he was at and how he was taken care of. And she got to lead him around and got to pet him and feed him treats. And it was real special for him. And I mean, it was a touching day that we were glad. It made us glad to be part of Oklahoma State and to be able to provide a service like that for kids. That's what they were wanting to do.
That's great. That's great. Ty, I have a question for you. How do you think, how do alumni and fans, how do they relate to the Spirit Rider and the Bullet, to the program? What's the tie there for them, connection?
Heritage, I guess, and Western heritage is the main thing, and then just their sense of pride for Oklahoma State, and Bullet being part of it, I guess, is the main thing, I guess, as far as I can think of, and just part of the animal science department, I guess, too, is what a lot of them relate it back to, which now I guess it falls mainly just under athletics, but a lot of them just, I guess, relate it to Western heritage and go Cowboys.
So I'm kind of trying to feedback what I think I'm hearing you say. You think people relate to sort of the Western heritage, the cowboy motif, the Western kind of, and Oklahoma State and the state of Oklahoma represent those values? Is that, do you think it's what?
Yeah, I think so.
Represents?
I think so. Yep. Just, you know, the hat and the chaps and the horse and cowboying and I guess agriculture too. So.
Ty, you know, some Some people might ask, since we have Pistol Pete, why do we need Spirit Rider? How would you answer that question?
Well, you know, Pistol Pete, everybody loves Pistol Pete and his shotgun and shooting and getting everybody into the game, but there's something that I guess the crowd gets into even more, and the kids love when the horse, when hear Larry holler and here's Bullet, and he comes flying out on the football field. There's just something that gets the crowd in an uproar and gets them on their feet and clapping and gets them excited, I guess. So I guess that's the main part of it is, and we've talked about that a few times in the horse, and everybody loves Bullet.
What, how do you see Spirit Rider and Pistol Pete? Do you think they complement each other, or do they help each other? How are they different? How are they the same?
You know, I think they do complement each other because Pistol Pete's supposed to be a cowboy, and then you got Bullet. So I think that they're both part of the Western heritage, gunslinging, you know, wearing chaps, boots, and spurs. And so I think that just kind of goes together. You got the cowboy and you got his horse. And so even though they're not exactly together and Pistol Pete's not supposed to be riding Bullet, I think it's just part of the Western heritage and having it there at Oklahoma State.
Thanks. Let me ask you, is Spirit Rider, were you compensated any from money, scholarship, or anything for being Spirit Rider?
Yes, there was a scholarship for the Spirit Rider and for the ground crew when you're in school there.
And that for like books, tuition, or?
Yeah, I think so. It'll go for books and tuition or whatever you need it to go. I mean, it's as applied to your bursar account.
It's a cash stipend that you get a bursar account, okay?
Yep.
Can you describe the Spirit Rider apparel? You know, you got the cowboy hat, you got everything. Can you just describe the outfit, the Spirit Rider?
Yeah.
And
you know,
maybe tie into it what you wore and what is it like today? How's it changed?
It's changed a lot. You know, when I was there, we wore white shirts, and then we had an orange vest that went over the top of them. And then we also had the little black ties that you tied around your neck that we wore with those. Yeah, kind of the little bow string tie type thing, ties. But over the years, and then when we were asked to take over the program, we kind of changed that out a little bit because the vests were always a problem, having to get everybody fitted just right to get them made, and so we just changed from that, and we did white shirts for a while and changed the jackets up a little bit, but then from there we changed to the black shirts, and we think that looks just a whole lot, it looks sharp, and so now we have the black shirts. And then Purina sponsors Bullet and feeds him for free throughout the year. So it's got Purina down one sleeve, and you have the Territory who helps get stuff. And so you've got Oklahoma State and OSU across the back, but it's black shirts. It's a little warm the first few games when it's so hot, but we think that it just looks a lot nicer and a little cleaner and more professional too.
The black felt hat.
Yep, black felt hat. And then used to, I guess, we had to wear black jeans as well. And now we just went from that to blue jeans and black boots. We do still make them wear the black boots and a black belt as well to match.
Chaps, do they?
The Spirit Rider wears chaps. Yep. And they're the only ones that wear chaps. The ground crew doesn't. They just wear their jeans because they're running out across the field and doing different things and having to take care of him, so they don't wear chaps, just a Spirit Rider.
They get to keep the gear after that year they've been Spirit Rider?
Some of it. They don't get to keep the chaps. We keep those for the ones to ride the next year because they're too expensive to be made year after year. But they get to keep their boots and the belt and the hat and their shirts and the pants that are bought. Yep.
Do you have a special belt buckle?
No. No special belt buckle or anything.
They can pick what they want.
They can pick whatever belt buckle that they want as long as they wear the black boots and the belt, and then we switch to the blue jeans and the shirt, but they get to keep all that, and they get to keep their jacket.
So you sort of described how the apparel's changed over time. Was that decisions that kind of you and Jennifer made, or was there input from other folks, or did it just sort of happen?
I think, yeah, it's decisions that Jennifer and I made. We didn't like having to wear the orange vests, and we were just wanting to update the wardrobe with the times just a little bit. And we thought that just the shirt looked a little better than having to wear a vest over the top of it too, and it was just too hard to get everybody fitted and sized and to get everything made all the time. So we thought it was just a cleaner, neater look just to wear a shirt, and then everybody be able to match like as well. And then we really liked the black shirts, and we thought that looked really good with the orange lettering on them. So I guess it was just kind of our decision, and then we approached the athletic department and asked them what they thought, and they said that would be great with them to update it and not have to go through all the other process.
Ty, sort of fast forward now from your student spirit runner days to your relationship with the university now, and I want to talk a little bit about kind of what that's like for you. But first of all, let me kind of review again. You shared some of what you've done since you left OSU, but so you graduated in
99.
99, and then did you work with the family after that director? Did you?
Yep, I went straight into working here at Stone Ridge Ranch and helping there, and then helping at Western Fire Protection with her mom and dad as well.
Okay.
Yep, went straight into that and helped there for quite a few years up until 3 years ago.
It must have been was that sort of an unusual turn for you to become VOAG, and then your father, and as I understand your uncle,
Yeah.
also had been a VOAG instructor. So
Yep.
there's a little bit in your blood, I guess. Had you ever thought about you were going to be a VOAG teacher?
It's what I always said that I wouldn't do. I always swore that I wouldn't be an ag teacher, being around both of them the whole time and knowing all the stuff that they had to do and how hard of work it was, and being gone long hours and hauling kids all over the country all the time. I always swore that I wouldn't do it, and then I ended up doing it and really enjoyed it. I do enjoy the kids and working with them all the time, and so I enjoyed my time there.
Tell us your story about why you decided to become a VOAG instructor after all those years.
No, I was just kind of ready for a change to do something else for a little while, and Kellyville Schools just called me and asked me. They had an ag teacher that quit about a month into school starting, and so they asked me if I had thought about teaching or would be interested in taking the position and helping the other ag teacher. There was another one there by the name of Kenny Hawkins that had taught at Sperry he taught there for probably 27-ish years, more or less. I'm not exact how long he taught there. And then he came to Kellyville, and I had known him. He went to school with my uncle, and so I'd known him for quite a while too. And he called me and asked me if I'd be willing to come help him teach there, because it was a 2-teacher program. I said, sure, I'll come up there and I'll try it, and I'll teach. So that's just how that came about.
So you enjoyed it, did you?
I did enjoy it. There was quite a few challenges that I had to face and go through, but I did enjoy it. Yep.
So you taught for 3 years, and as you know, another who took this position with a friend who was just financially attractive to you, too good a deal to turn down.
It was, yes, too good of a deal to turn down. Increase in pay by quite a bit, and then it was dealing with horses, and that's going to be every day just dealing with dealers and owners and horses and helping them with their feeding programs, I guess, and that kind of sparked my interest, and being able to just deal with horse-related issues every day and feeding programs and working for a company, I guess, that I believe in, because that's what we feed, and that's what we feed Bullet and all the horses here on the ranch, and I've tried some of the other ones, but so I believed in the program, plus it was a significant pay raise, so that worked as well.
so let's see, preen is the breakfast of champions for Bullet. Huh?
Yeah, preen is the breakfast of champions for Bullet, and the dinner.
So it's one of those questions you ask, what does he eat? You say, well, he eats preen food.
Yep.
Yeah, you emphasize that a little bit more now.
Yep, yeah, I got to emphasize that more.
What about your ranching operations here? You spend a lot of time, I know you're working as well, but you still help with the family farm here, is that right, the family ranch?
Yep, still work here. We got 80 plus pecan trees here on the place that have to deal with, and we have to get somebody to harvest, and then we run a few head of registered Hereford and a few registered Red Angus cows, and then we have the cutting horse facility where we show cutting horses as much as we can, and that we're allowed when we're not doing all the other things and trying to take care of the place.
Do you sell some horses as well?
Yep, we do. We raised some cutting horses, and then we sell them as we go along, and I may show them for a while and win a little bit of money on them, and then sell them.
And there's quite a demand in there nationwide for good cutting horses.
Yep, for the good cutting horses, you know, for just a regular horse right now, they don't bring a whole lot, but the ones that are on the higher end of the spectrum and the ones that are bred really well and won some money, they still pay quite a bit of money for.
So we talked earlier about what year did you and Jennifer take over your new role? If I kind of give a little background, I guess you used to be over in the agronomy department or the animal science department.
Yep, animal science department.
There'd be a faculty sponsor that did work with the program and work with athletics. So they decided. So how did that change? You can tell me a little bit how you and Jennifer got involved in that then.
Yep, the animal science department just decided that they didn't want to have to deal with it anymore, and to take care of the program, they went through some issues with a student that ended up, I guess, tried to sue the school on sexual discrimination because she didn't get it. And I guess if you'll look back through history, there's more female spirit riders than there are male probably that's been through it, and so that kind of is what prompted the animal science department to not have to deal with that anymore. And so they turned it over to the athletic department, since that's who owns Bullet. And his name is in the on the papers is the Oklahoma State University Athletic Department. And so they just called us knowing that I had been the spirit rider and Jennifer had also been a spirit rider, and asked us if we would be willing to take over the program. And so we visited about it, and we believed in the program so much, and we hated to see it just die out and Bullet not be part of it anymore, that we said sure, and that we would be glad to, and we were thrilled to be able to, I guess, provide that service and to help Oklahoma State and be part of Bullet's life and take over the program. And so we've been doing it, I think, since Jennifer would know more than probably me, but I think since 2004, right around there. I think we've done it about 6 years.
Well, Ty, could you talk a little bit about what that entails? I mean, what do you in the year's time, say the football season's over, okay, and take us through, 9 months or so to the next football season. What do you do, and how do you maintain Bullet?
Well, we keep him up through the football season, and then as soon as football season's over with, we start shutting the lights off of him probably the last 2 weeks. We keep lights on him in the barn to make him think it's summertime up through fall and the beginning of winter, to keep his hair short, to keep him slick and looking really nice. So starting probably about the last 2 to 3 football games, we've turned the lights back off to where it's only daylight when it is daylight, instead of having lights on up till 9 o'clock at night like summertime. And so we shut those off, let him start growing some hair, because he stays in a heated barn in the wintertime up until that point. And then we just start letting him grow a little bit of hair and turn him out during the daytime in the cooler weather, so his hair will start growing. And then usually probably by the 1st of January he's ready to go outside, so he can go out in the cold then. And then we mainly turn him loose and put him with the rest of the horses and just let him be a horse. And we feed him and still watch him and take care of him, but we just leave him alone up until probably the last of May. Well, in April, I guess we have to get him up for a couple of weeks to do tryouts, spirit rider tryouts. And so we'll get him up in April, and we'll ride him just a little bit to get him in a little bit of shape. And then we'll do the spirit rider tryouts, and then we'll turn him back out again. And then about the last of May to the 1st of June, we get him up and start putting him in the stall so that we can get his hair coat good and start getting him in shape and get him black, because he'll bleach out in the sun if you leave him out all summer long. And so then we start riding him and get him ready, and then go through the whole football season and then go through the process again. But we try to just kick him out in the pasture and let him be a horse and let him run and play and do whatever he wants to from the end of football season, kind of middle of December-ish through May. He's just out running around, and we just, other than worming him and catching him to trim his feet and do that kind of stuff and giving him feed, aside of that, he's just out running in the pasture being a normal horse like everything else.
What do you, after he's already, of course, been, how many years has he been the Bullet now, and how many years?
I think this will be his 6th year.
Okay. So you don't really have to do a whole lot of preparation as you get closer in the year. But the question I have is, do you then work with the new spirit rider to come out and kind of bond with with Bullet, do they work with the horse then as they get later in the summer?
Yes. We'll in April we usually have the tryouts, and then we get all their measurements and all that to get their clothes and everything ordered, so that's ready to go. And then the Spirit Rider will usually start coming out about June, if they can, and whenever time allows them, depending on how far they live away. And they'll start riding him every so often just to get used to him and to figure out all of his little quirks and things that you need to know to be able to get along with him and to get him on the football field and to ride him, just so that they're used to each other.
Well, Ty's understand. A lot of people think you just get on a horse and ride it, and there's different commands, ways with your knees and your legs. Can you kind of talk about some of the finer aspects of what a new Spirit Rider's going to have to learn about how to handle a Bullet?
Yeah. A lot of people think that you can just get on and send them and take off and you can do it, but it's probably not going to look real pretty or go real smooth for you. This horse requires a lot of leg and a lot of pushing him. He's willing to do whatever you ask him to, and if you've worked with him and if you rode him quite a bit, he will trust you 100%. You just got to ask him to do some stuff. And this horse uses a lot of leg to send him. You can ride him around and stop him and turn him quite a bit and put him wherever you want to with just your legs and your feet. And so it takes a lot of people don't ride that, I guess, that way, and that's just part of the way he was trained. And then that's how Jennifer and how all of our horses respond, I guess, as well, as to a lot of leg pressure, especially since we show cutting horses, and that's how you're supposed to move them around and get them in the places that you need to. So it's mainly just getting people here, and so that they can realize that lots of leg and to get him to go wherever you want to, because you don't just cluck or do whatever or run your hand up his neck to get him to go. It's just a lot of just sitting there and just pushing with your legs.
Of course, you got the flag, you got the reins in one hand.
Yeah, you got reins in one hand and flag in the other. So it's just getting them to get a seat and getting a feel for it, because there's no hand to grab a hold of a saddle horn.
So probably at the end of each summer, what you're saying is you're really training the student rider.
Yeah.
Training Bullet, is that right?
Yeah, just getting them used to the horse and training them to know how much leg pressure and to be able to send him to get him to go wherever you want to.
Does the athlete, where they compensate you for your work and feed and maintaining?
Yep.
Just have a
they pay us.
contract with them?
Yep. We have a contract with them just for labor and to take care of him. And so, we were worked and hired through them.
Okay. And speaking of transporting back and forth to games, is a trailer provided by somebody? Is it?
Sundowner donated a trailer.
Okay.
Yep. And so the trailer has been donated by Sundowner, and then we just take him back and forth on game days in the trailer.
Use your truck, I guess.
Use our truck. Yep. We use our truck, and then Sundowner provides the trailer for us for advertisement. So.
We talked about the apparel for Spirit Rider. How about for Bullet? Saddle and tack, what can you kind of describe that for me?
Yep. He put the same saddle that they've used for, I don't know how old that saddle is for sure. It's been around probably 18 to 20, maybe plus years. I'd have to look at the date on it, but it's been around, and it's got Pistol Pete stamped on the fender. It says Oklahoma State in silver across the back, and OSU in silver on the sides, but he does that, and he has a breast collar that says Oklahoma State on it that he wears, and we usually try to put a solid orange pad on, and it's got Purina, I guess, on it too, for advertisement for them.
Is this under the saddle?
Yep, the pad that's on them, and then other than that, we just put a bridle and some reins on it, and then I guess the only thing that we have to do to him is we black his feet out. We put Hoof Alive black polish on his feet to, I guess, dress him up a little bit.
On his hooves?
On his hooves. Yep, we hoof black those, and then we put some fly spray on him to keep the flies off of him, and that's about it for him.
Well, probably Bullet has a complaint, and all this get up on the stage. Is Bullet's name anywhere?
On the stall, I guess, down there. It says Bullet on there.
If I talk to Jennifer, she must have got good ideas.
Yeah.
Ty, we were just talking about different Spirit Riders, and how did the ratio between, there have been a lot of female Spirit Riders, about half and half, or how many?
No, I think probably the female outweighs the male spirit riders quite a bit at this point, at least for the last few years anyway. Because I think we were talking that I was a spirit rider in 97 or 98, 97, 98, right around through there. And since I guess I was a spirit rider, I think that there's only been 2 other guys that's been the spirit rider.
Wow.
So in the last 13 years or so, there's only, out of that, there's been 10 women that's been the spirit rider and 3 guys. So there's a lot more women that try out, I guess, than guys that do.
And I understand the spirit rider usually just for 1 year.
Yep.
Okay.
For 1 year.
It's not written in stone anywhere. That's kind of the tradition's been 1 year and pass it on.
Yep, that's been the tradition. And you know, during when the stadium was being built, Boone Pickens Stadium, and during all the construction, and it was a new horse for safety reasons and for those kind of issues, the athletic department wanted me to go ahead and ride him then, since I had been in that situation and had done it before. And then Jennifer rode him 1 year too, because you never knew what was going to happen. Every football game, with all the different dirt work and the concrete work, there was something new that was, you had a new obstacle to go around all the time. And so there might be rebar sticking out somewhere or something that you'd have to go around. And so for safety issues and reasons, we ended up just riding him for about 3 years there. But we were ready to turn it back over and let the students, I mean, we enjoyed it, and I would love to ride him every year and do it, because there's something about, I guess, that security when you know that you're the one that's on the horse and know what you're going to be doing. It takes a lot of relief off of me, I guess. I get nervous every football season when we have a spirit rider and somebody riding, because now that I'm older, you know, when I did it in high school, there was no worries. You did whatever you wanted to as fast as you could do it. And the older you get, all the what ifs start popping in your head, and you can see where the instructors came from asking all the questions, because you are scared of all the things that could and all the possibilities and things that could go wrong. And so,
Well, Ty, speaking of kind of the exciting feeling, what is it? What was it like? Do you remember the first time you were a spirit rider, the first game? What do you remember about that?
I just remember it feels like your heart's about to jump out through your throat, because you know, when I did it, you had that concrete tunnel that came down into the field, so it was like a little runway ramp going down into it. And so the first thing that happens is, you know, as the band goes on the field and starts playing, and at that point, the horse knows what's going to happen, you know what's going to happen, both of your hearts are beating 100 miles an hour, and when you come down that ramp and people screaming and hollering because they're all waiting for Bullet, and then you hear Larry saying, "Here's Bullet," and you come flying out, it's the biggest rush probably that I've ever had, and to be a part of that and be able to do that, it's great.
It's good to look up there and see 50,000 people in the stands. It's kind of like first time freshman football players got their first kickoff return or something.
Yeah. You don't have, the only part about that is you don't have a whole lot of time or a whole lot of opportunities to look at the stands, because you're watching all the people on the ground to make sure you're not going to run over them. So you try to stay focused, and I try to tell them all the time, just stay focused on the horse and where you're going. Kind of to an extent keep tunnel vision as to where you're headed and your goal and where you're going to go. I said, but you got to be watching in every direction to make sure there's not somebody going to come running underneath him or in front of him too.
Yeah. I guess you get to look at the crowd as you walk back, as you make the run, go down the sideline, maybe get a chance to look.
Yeah, on your way back when you're trotting back down the sidelines, you get to wave at the fans and see them and recognize some people in the stands.
Ty, are there some scenarios that you think about or prepare for, for game day, that, what ifs and could be's, and do you try to mentally or physically prepare for some of the things that might happen, good and bad, in the ball game?
Yeah, there's a lot of, when you've got that many people and that many obstacles to go around, there's lots of good things, and there's sure a lot of bad things that go through your head that you're thinking about, and there's a lot of what ifs that you keep in your mind, and if something's going to happen, what's the first plan of action and what we're going to do. And that's why we keep a vet for the bad things that's going to be there, just in case, so that we can take care of Bullet as quick and as possible, and so that he's not in any pain if something does happen. But there's a lot of the what ifs, and a lot of that we try to prepare the rider for, because you never know what's going to happen when it comes time for a touchdown run. First of all, because it seems like every year the refs have forgot about it, the cheerleaders have forgot about it come the first game, the football players will come running back on the field before you've got a chance to get out there and it's cleared enough for you to run. So there's a lot of that what ifs, and I just tell them, I said, just safety. That's what we, I guess, talk to them and preach to them over and over and over and over is safety. Don't get in a big hurry till you've got a good feel for it, and not to get Bullet in so big of a hurry that it gets him in a bind and slipping a lot. And so I guess safety and all the what ifs with the safety is the main thing that goes through our head all the time.
Kind of going back to some of your, how you're kind of adrenaline rush in the field. What are some of your favorite memories as a spear rider? Maybe some funny, some exciting, some scary maybe. Can you think about some of your memories as your time as spear rider?
Yeah. There's been a few close calls, I guess, that sticks in your mind, of refs coming out and getting in the way, and they learn that if I can make eye contact with them after the first game or two, and if they'll just stand still, that he'll go around them, and that you can guide and go around them. But some of them, I guess it's just the looks on the refs and their panic mode and scrambling trying to get out of the way is probably some of the funny things that happen. And we try to prepare and warn everybody as much as possible, but it's a little bit hilarious when a horse comes running down the field and they think that they're going to get ran over, where if they'll just hold still or step over out of the way, we'll go around them and it's not that big of a deal.
You talked about, of course, having the kids out there was something special, but as a spear rider, any other memories you think of? Of course, that first time you rode out there, but anything special stand out in your mind?
No, I don't guess. Not right off the top of my head. I'm sure that if I thought about it for a little bit, there's been several probably things that's happened and occasions, I guess being able to ride him a few last year and doing our pre-game video with Bullet racing Des Bryant. That was fun and something pretty interesting, and being able to work with John Martin to produce the video of him that was played last year. And I guess the other thing is when I did ride in, when I was in college there, we did a video for the game day entrance that time. And so they showed us that video way back then, I guess 13 years ago, of me running across the field like I'm headed to the stadium, and then coming in front of the old, I guess the intramural soccer games down there on Hall of Fame, where the new apartments and stuff were they built. And so running down through there, and then the next clip is me getting closer to the stadium, and then they film me coming down the tunnel and out, and I've got a football and going up to the camera and throwing the football into the camera, and then the explosion, and that's when the team came on. And we had a great time, and that was fun filming that, and then just being able to watch that. Bullet's been able to be a part of, I guess, quite a few of the videos for them for pregame, so that worked out well.
So, and at pregame, the videos they show up on the Jumbotron?
Yep, on the Jumbotron, yep.
How many of those you've probably done?
I guess 3 that I've been a part of. We did the one when I was in school there, and then they did another one a few years after that, right after we took over the program with Garth Brooks. And so we did a video with that one, I guess, and then we did the one last year. That one was interesting because I was running across the field and we had helicopters videoing from right over the top of us, not very far, and so that was interesting as well.
Well, tell me about the race now. How close was it, and how long was it? 40-yard dash? What was it?
Oh, I think we ended up running probably the 50 yards. We started at the end zone down there, and I asked Des before we got started, I said, do you want me to give you a 15-yard head start? And he said, no, I don't need it. And I said, are you sure? And he said, no, I'm good. And I said, okay. So the first time we took off, and I'll just let Bullet take off and run, and we had passed him by the 30-yard line. And it kind of upset him quite a bit because I think that he was actually thinking he was going to outrun Bullet. And when I blew past him, it changed the expression on his face pretty fast.
So did you then start together?
Yeah, we'd start together, and then I just didn't run Bullet full blast a lot when we were doing the videos for it.
You sort of kind of played with
him. Yeah, we just kind of loped along the side of him.
I drilled him into 30 yards.
Yeah. So, but it was fun. We shot that, and we had to take, I don't know, there was probably 15 or 20 takes of that. But Des thought the first time right up that he was going to outrun Bullet.
He had been around horses very much.
Yeah, he didn't understand how fast a horse could run, I guess.
Well, gosh, Ty, the first home football game is only 11 days away. Is that right?
Yep.
Is Bullet ready? I saw you out there, washing him down and getting him ready. And
I think Bullet is ready.
Maybe I should ask you, is your new spirit rider ready?
I think she is. She's excited and she is ready for the first football game. She is pumped up and she's ready for the thrill, I guess.
Well, Ty, kind of changing directions a little bit. What do you know about the history of the spirit rider program? Could you kind of take maybe 4 or 5 minutes, kind of just share some how it got started and a little bit of how it's evolved through the years?
Yeah. I don't know the exact, I guess, the full history as the exact year that it started. I think it started in the 80s, mid 80s probably. And I know some of the first ones that started, I guess, the program, but it started with, I guess, just whoever was the president of the rodeo associations, how it started, and they would just use one of their horses, whatever horse they had. And I think actually when it started, they had a dog that ran around behind them too when they ran out on the football field. And so, I think that went on for probably right around 6 to 8 years or so. And then they had a horse that was donated to them. And then I guess they threw out a few names and they let the student body name the horse. And Bullet's what they came up with. And so it's been Bullet ever since.
So when they picked the new horse, that's when they changed. They had
Yep.
the vote.
Yep. And the horse has been black ever since.
You remember when that was?
No, I don't know exactly. Jennifer probably has a better idea of that. But just right off the top of my head, I don't know exactly when. I think the old horse did it for 16 years. So 16, and then this horse, there was a horse in between that did it for about 2. So that's 18. And this horse is 6, so probably 24, 25 years ago, I guess, is when the black Bullet started. Yeah.
You know where the black, was there a conscious decision made when they purchased the horse, their first Bullet horse?
I think it just because the horse was black that they donated, I think, and then they just have stuck with it ever since, and it's worked great since part of OSU colors, I guess, too. And to stick with a black horse, I do know that, it's a lot harder to find a black horse to do this now, because to find one without any white markings or one that hasn't been branded by somebody else. Because in the quarter horse deal, I guess, in the quarter horse industry, people don't breed for black horses anymore, maybe like they used to. You can find them in the thoroughbreds or warm bloods or in draft breeds, but to find a black quarter horse is pretty difficult anymore, especially one that doesn't have any white and then isn't branded as well. Yep, it's a lot harder now than it used to be.
Do you have any thought about how many more years do you think that our current Bullet probably got in him before you need to put him out to pasture?
I think it all just depends on how well they get along and how good of an attitude they keep with it. This Bullet that's been going, he seems to love his job and does great, and I don't see any soundness problems with him. He takes everything really well. I think that he should be good. I'm hoping he's good for another 8, 10, 12 years.
So, and how old is he right now?
I think that he's 12. That's how old he is. Yep. So as long as he stays in good shape and keeps looking good in front of the public and is sound, we'll keep using him as long as possible.
How many of the former spirit riders do you know, Ty? Do you stay in touch with them? Do you ever get together in reunions? Or?
During homecoming, every once in a while, we'll get together and a bunch of them will ride on the, like in the back of the truck with Bullet, sort of like the Peets do. And a lot of them doesn't get together. I guess we don't get together as much maybe as the former Peets do. But as far as how many that I know, well, I guess all of them since we took over the program, and then probably another. So I probably know about 10 of them by name and would recognize them, and we recognize each other and talk. So.
You, Jennifer, ever thought about the ones you worked with the last few years about bringing them together?
Yep, we have talked about that, and we talked about maybe even this homecoming, trying to get a bunch of them together to have a cookout and try to see how many we could get together for the homecoming parade too this year.
Great. Ty, what does it mean to you to have been a former, spirit rider and to represent the university? How significant was that to you?
Great. I mean, it was a huge significance, I guess, in my life, and it was a big part of you and I guess even your identity when you're at Oklahoma State University, because a lot of the professors maybe don't know you quite as well, but if you're taking care of Bullet, and that's a big part to them too as well, then it's a great opportunity, and it's a thrilling, and all the different things that you get to do and all the kids that you get to see and touch their lives. It's just a great program, and it ends up becoming part of your identity, I guess, through Oklahoma State and what ties you back to Oklahoma State.
Of course, you and Jennifer have had the opportunity to sort of come full circle again, back to working with the program every year now.
Yep.
In addition to that.
Yep, we've came all the way back around to going through the program and doing it and graduating, and then come back around and then now taking over the program and dealing with it on a daily basis now.
Ty, how do you see the Spirit Rider program evolving or changing? There's been changes in it through the years, sometimes minor, but how do you see it evolving and changing in the future? Any thoughts or plans?
No, I'm hoping that it just keeps going forward and everything keeps getting better. It keeps getting a little more tough and a little more tough. They keep adding quite a few things that we've got to do and go through. And, I guess by nature, horse isn't supposed to do what this horse does.
Right.
They're fight or flight creatures, and being stuck in front of 35,000 people and people running all over the place and running across those lines and end zones and cannons going off and people all everywhere and smoke machines going, and then the video cameras dropping off of wires up above to zoom in on you. What we ask him to do is a whole lot for a horse that should probably just absolutely say no and not do. And so I'm hoping that everything that Oklahoma State does, they just keep in mind that there is a horse factored into that football field. And it's a little bit tougher, before when we had the tunnel and was able to come out, everything, you had a center mark right there coming out from underneath and you could make a circle. Now to do touchdown runs, it's a little oblong circles, and it's a little bit more difficult because we're over on the side, but it's getting so closed in and so many people, it makes me a little bit nervous there.
You might kind of expand a little bit. When they completed the west end zone, Bullet now has kind of his own, you say, corral stall or area over there. Is that right? Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, he does have his own stall and his own, I guess, quarters down there that we can close up and completely, we can shut the doors up and he can be in there and quiet, and it is air conditioned and heated just like the rest of it. And so he has his own stall down there that we've got shavings and mats in, and we can water him and put him in there just to rest, like during halftime and whenever we're not on the football field. So there's lockers down there, and we're able to keep our vet medicine stuff and where it's locked up down there and out away from everybody. So it's really nice and a really great place for him to stay.
What do you think the OSU will need to do in the future to continue to strengthen the program? You mentioned, be sure to work with the horse. I mean, you see other things that might need to be strengthened. Not that, I mean, it's a good program now, but further strengthen it. Do you think any ideas that you have?
I'm sure that there's lots of people that has probably really good ideas for strengthening on the outside looking in, and don't understand some of the things, I guess, that we have to go through. But there's a lot of safety. That's the main thing that we have to keep focus and I guess keep strengthening and coming up with new ideas and things to be able to keep people and to keep Bullet safe, and maybe some more marketing ideas, that more people know Bullet, or to get some things out there to the kids. We've tried to think about a few things that maybe we could get made to give away or to sell to kids so that they could have some more Bullet memorabilia or items, since he is a big part of Oklahoma State.
We've covered a lot of things. What have we not talked about that would be of interest to people that we've left out at this point?
Probably, since everybody, their main focus is probably not on me, it's probably mainly on Bullet. And I guess one of his favorite things is he loves to eat apples. you can put treats and put stuff in his bucket, and he loves to eat apples and carrots. And you know, my daughter will bring apples down every once in a while, and you can feed it to him out of his hand, or you can drop an apple in a bucket, and he'll roll it around and have an apple eaten in no time. And so that's probably the most interesting that the kids want to hear about and think about when they think about Bullet, and is that he likes treats. But I guess we've pretty much covered everything from A to Z and all the different things that we do with him and taking care of him. So that's the only other thing that I can think about, I guess, is just him loving his treats.
Appreciate you taking time to do this, and it's very special what you and Jennifer do for the program. And in addition to your time as a student, but now as you do in your life and with your family, you still make time to. And you spend a lot of time on doing this, and we appreciate you doing that.
We're thrilled. We're thrilled to have the job and to be able to take care of him and carry on the Oklahoma State tradition. It's been great for us, and we love Oklahoma State, and we're really attached to Bullet. He's like part of our family now. That's probably the main reason we keep doing it too, because we're attached to the horse now.
Well, thanks so much. Appreciate it, Ty.
Thank you.